if you think about every other species that exist on planet Earth, the vast majority of these species, they don't have a money. Therefore, they don't have trade. They do not trade with each other. When you do not trade with each other, you are not considered civilized. When you are not considered civilized, you must kill for what you need. So every other species on planet Earth, because they do not trade with each other, because they do not have a money, they must be violent with each other. So whenever they need something, they must take it by violence. They must take what they need by force. We have risen above every other species on planet Earth because we have adopted the concept of money. And therefore, with the concept of money, we're able to trade with each other. Trade is devoid of violence. Trade is what solves wars. Trade is what eliminates murder. Trade is what removes crimes against another fellow human being. Because I can trade with you for something that you have, I do not have to kill you for what you have. So trade is extraordinarily important for the human race. But in order to have fair and true trade, you must have a fair and true money. In order to have a fair, and when you have a fair and true money, only then can you have a fair and true price. Price becomes the central thing that makes for proper communication and trade between human beings. When you corrupt price, you could corrupt trade. When you corrupt trade, you corrupt the entire society and you bring it back to primitive times, where I must now be stupid with you, I must now take from you, I must now find a way to rob from you because price has been corrupted. The free market has been corrupted, and it forces me to go back to primitive times where the way I gain is to game you. The way I gain is to trick you. The way I gain is to take from you, to be unfair with you. I have to win over you. There has to be a loser and a winner. And this is all the result of a bad money that has false pricing built into the bad money, where the signal is wrong. When your price is true and it is not manufactured by a group or an individual or an entity, when price, the point at which we deal with each other, is true and fair, there is no need for violence. There is no need for war. There's no need for me to do harm to you, to take from you. And so we're living in a world now where price is corrupted. That the free market has not, we no longer allow the free market to come up intrinsically and naturally with a price for things. Price now is controlled by an elite group or a small group or an entity or a corporation or a government, and that corrupts the entire society based on what I just explained to you. Corrupt price, you corrupt the natural communication and dealing and trade amongst human beings, and you move us back to a primitive area where now I have to rob you to get ahead. I have to violate you to get ahead. I have to take advantage of you to get ahead. Price is no longer pure. Bitcoin fixes this because for the first time we have a money, a medium of exchange, right? That is not in the hands of any human being, that cannot be controlled by any human being, any entity, or any government, but yet is accessible to every single human being on planet Earth. And I'll return back to this point. What separates us from every other beast on planet Earth, every other entity, every other species that lives on our planet, is the fact that we trade. When we cease to trade fairly amongst each other, we revert back to being violent, primitive animals that must rob, steal, take by violence from every single person. When people say that Bitcoin is freedom, this is partly what they mean. When people say that Bitcoin is peace, this is what they mean. Bitcoin fixes this because it takes the very thing that makes us human and civilized out of the hands and control of human beings who have fucked up everything on this planet. For the first time, we have a money that is not co-opted by human beings who fucked up everything, not co-opted by another man whose incentive will always be to take from you. All right, guys, I gotta eat, man. My food is getting cold. But there you go. All right.